Have you ever felt the sharp sting of someone walking away, only to wonder if they'd ever come back? It's a question that lingers in the hearts of many women, one that feels both frustrating and oddly empowering. Why? Because deep down you suspect that the answer has less to do with him and far more to do with you. Let's be real. We've all been told to move on, to focus on ourselves, and let time do its magic. But what if I told you that the real magic isn't in waiting for him, but in becoming someone he cannot ignore? That's not about playing games or feeding into shallow tactics. It's about stepping into your own light and owning your power. The moment you do, the dynamics shift. He starts to see things he overlooked, and suddenly you're not just someone he remembers, you're someone he can't stop thinking about. What makes a man realize he's let go of something extraordinary? How does that realization creep into his mind, often long after you've walked away? And most importantly, what can you do to take control, not of him, but of yourself? This isn't about manipulation, it's about transformation. Stay with me, because I'm about to take you on a journey that doesn't just answer those questions, it redefines how you view relationships, attraction, and, most importantly, yourself. We're going to dive deep into 8 profound moments when he may come back into your life and why. And by the end of this, you'll realize the real power was in your hands all along. Are you ready to unlock the secrets? Let's start with the first, most powerful reason. 1. The power of absence. Why space changes perspectives. He may come back into your life when he realizes what your absence truly means. Think about it. When you're constantly present, available, or accommodating, your value can become something he takes for granted. Not because you're not enough, but because humans often fail to cherish what's always within reach. It's a cruel irony, isn't it? But here's the beauty of absence, it forces reflection. Imagine this, he's going through his routine. Maybe he's scrolling through social media, revisiting places you used to go together, or simply lying awake at night. And then it hits him, something's missing. It's not just the laughter or the way you understood his quirks. It's the way you made him feel. Suddenly, the silence you left behind becomes deafening. Absence, in its simplest form, creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. But don't misunderstand this, it's not about playing hard to get. It's about genuinely stepping away to focus on yourself. When you reclaim your energy, redirect it inward, and stop chasing his attention, it triggers a powerful shift. You're no longer reacting to his absence. Instead, you're thriving in your own presence. Now, let me ask you, how often have you tried to fill that silence with texts, calls, or desperate attempts to remind him of your worth? What if, instead, you allowed the silence to speak for you? What if you trusted that the space you create could amplify your value in ways no words ever could? Absence also forces him to confront something he may have been avoiding, his own feelings. Stoicism teaches us to find strength in restraint, and this principle applies beautifully here. By embodying a Stoic dating approach, you practice emotional discipline, not reacting out of fear or insecurity, but acting from a place of confidence and self-assurance. When he sees that you're not chasing, begging, or waiting, it sends a powerful message. You don't need him to define your worth. But here's the kicker. He'll return not just because he misses you, but because he'll realize that the person he let go of is now someone even more remarkable. This isn't about punishing him or playing mind games. It's about showing him, and yourself, that your value isn't conditional on his attention. Absence allows clarity both for him and for you. For him, it's the clarity that what he let go of was rare. For you, it's the clarity that his return doesn't validate you. It's merely a reflection of the growth you've achieved. And when he does come back, the question isn't whether you'll take him back, but whether he's grown enough to deserve the new, evolved version of you. Now tell me, if you stepped back today, embraced your own power, and allowed your absence to work its magic, how might that change not just his perspective, but yours? 2. Growth and self-worth. The magnetic force. He may come back into your life when he realizes that you're no longer the person he left behind. Let that sink in for a moment. Growth is magnetic. It's undeniable. When you stop chasing someone else's approval and start investing in yourself, everything changes. You begin to exude a quiet confidence, an inner radiance that makes you irresistible, not just to him, but to the world. And trust me, he'll notice. Picture this. The version of you he remembers may have been caring, nurturing, and maybe even a little too available. But now, you've evolved. You've discovered your own worth, and you carry yourself differently. You've set boundaries. You've said no to things that don't serve you. You've stopped apologizing for taking up space. And in doing so, you've become someone he can't ignore. Why is this so powerful? Because personal growth doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how others perceive you. It's in the way you walk into a room, your head held high, your energy unshaken. It's in the way you speak with conviction, unafraid to share your thoughts. It's in your refusal to settle for less than you deserve. Growth doesn't require words, it's visible in everything you do. And here's the kicker. When he sees this change, it will unsettle him. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you've become the kind of woman he may no longer feel entitled to. Your strength and independence create a stark contrast to the person he thought he knew. He'll start to wonder, how did she become so unshakable? How did she become so unstoppable? This is where Stoic dating comes into play. Stoicism teaches us to remain grounded, unbothered by external validation. It's about owning your emotions without letting them control you. When you embody this mindset, you radiate an unspoken message. I am whole on my own. Your presence in my life is a privilege, not a necessity. But let's be honest, getting to this place isn't always easy. Growth requires effort, discipline, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. It means taking a hard look at the patterns that may have held you back and making the conscious decision to break free from them. It means letting go of the fear that if you change too much, he might not recognize you. Because here's the truth. The right person will celebrate your growth, not fear it. Now, let me ask you something. What have you been holding back from doing because you were afraid of how it might affect your relationship? Was it a career move? A new hobby? Taking time for yourself? Whatever it is, this is your permission to go for it. Not because it will make him come back, but because it will make you come alive. And when he does see this new version of you, it will spark something inside him, a longing, a curiosity, maybe even regret. But whether or not he comes back isn't the point. The point is that your growth will attract the kind of energy and people who align with the best version of you. And if he does return, you'll be in a place to decide, not from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. Here's the challenge: commit to your growth. Start today. Take that first step, no matter how small. And if this message resonates with you, let's celebrate it together. Like this video and comment number 1 if you're ready to step into your power and own your worth. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on relationships, personal growth, and stoicism. Your journey is just beginning, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Are you ready to become the woman he'll never forget? Then let's keep going. Let me know if you're ready for the next chapter of this transformation. 3. Actions speak louder than words. He may come back into your life when he realizes that your expectations demand more than just empty promises. Words can charm, but actions define value. A man who truly cares won't just speak his affection, he'll demonstrate it. And when you start holding people accountable for their actions, when you stop settling for less than you deserve, it creates a ripple effect that can't be ignored. Let's be honest. In many relationships, we've all been guilty of giving too many chances to someone who talks a good game but fails to deliver. Maybe he promised to make more time for you, but somehow his schedule always seemed too full. Maybe he said he'd change, yet his actions kept repeating the same old patterns. It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the turning point. When you begin to demand more consistency, more honesty, more effort, something extraordinary happens. First, it sends a clear message to him and to the world. I am not here for mediocrity. This is where self-respect comes into play. By refusing to entertain words that aren't backed by actions, you're not just setting boundaries, you're setting standards. And guess what? Men notice. It might not happen overnight, but eventually he will realize that You're not just someone who listens to sweet talk, you're someone who requires follow through. Now, why does this realization matter so much? Because actions reveal priorities. A man who truly values you won't risk losing you over laziness or complacency. He'll understand that showing up for you is non-negotiable. And if he doesn't realize this immediately, the gap your absence creates, the space where your patience and understanding once lived, will force him to confront what he lost. It's a wake-up call like no other. But let's dive deeper into why this shift in dynamic is so powerful. When you stop accepting excuses and start holding others accountable, you create an environment where authenticity thrives. And that authenticity, it's incredibly attractive. There's something undeniably magnetic about a woman who knows her worth and doesn't settle for half-hearted efforts. She commands respect without ever having to demand it. She becomes a force of nature, someone who inspires admiration simply by existing as her full, unapologetic self. Here's where the concept of Stoicism becomes a game changer. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. You can't control whether he keeps his promises, but you can control your response. You can choose to walk away from situations that don't align with your values. You can decide to prioritize your peace over pleasing someone who doesn't meet you halfway. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about protecting your energy and investing it where it's valued. Now imagine this scenario. After you've stepped back and drawn a line in the sand, he begins to notice the absence of your patience, your support, your energy. He starts to realize that his words, no matter how charming, aren't enough to win you back. He begins to understand that you've evolved into someone who requires more, and this realization sparks a shift within him. He's faced with a choice, step up or step aside, and if he chooses the former, it's because he recognizes your worth, not because you begged him to see it. But what if he doesn't step up? What if he continues to offer excuses instead of actions? That's when your growth becomes your greatest ally. By refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve, you open the door to new possibilities, new relationships, new opportunities, and a deeper connection with yourself. And isn't that what this journey is all about? Here's a truth that might sting a little. Not every man who comes back deserves a second chance. Sometimes his realization comes too late, and that's okay. Because your journey isn't about him, it's about you. It's about building a life so fulfilling, so vibrant that anyone who wants to be part of it must rise to meet your standards. And here's another layer to consider. When a man truly values you, he won't just match your energy, he'll amplify it. He'll understand that relationships aren't about taking, they're about mutual growth and support. And when he returns with actions that reflect this understanding, it's because he sees you for who you are, a woman of substance, strength, and unwavering self-respect. So let's take a moment to reflect. Have you been allowing words to carry more weight than actions in your relationships? Have you been giving your energy to someone who hasn't earned it? If so, now is the time to shift that dynamic. Not for him, but for you. Because when you demand more, you don't just raise your standards, you raise your vibration. And that higher vibration? It's a magnet for people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your true worth. And what happens when he comes back, ready to meet those standards? That's when you decide. You hold the power, not him. And in that power lies the freedom to choose, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance. This isn't just about making him realize what he lost. It's about making yourself realize what you've gained by setting boundaries and embracing your worth. And when you do that, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. Are you ready for the next chapter of this journey? Let's continue. 4. The role of regret. Realizing what they've lost. He may come back into your life when he realizes the depth of what he lost, and regret takes hold. Regret is a powerful, often underestimated emotion. It lingers in the quiet moments, seeping into thoughts when the distractions fade and the truth becomes impossible to ignore. When he begins to understand the magnitude of your absence, it can create a profound internal reckoning that no amount of pride or ego can suppress. Think about it. during the relationship, he might have taken your kindness for granted. Perhaps he believed you would always be there, forgiving, understanding, and accommodating his flaws without question. But when you're no longer there to anchor him, he's left adrift, forced to confront a life without the light you brought into his world. And that's when regret begins its relentless whisper. What have I done? How could I let her go? Regret doesn't strike immediately. At first, he might feel relief, even freedom, imagining a world without the responsibilities or commitments of being with you. He may convince himself that he's better off, that moving on is for the best, but as time passes, life inevitably presents its truths. The fleeting thrill of independence fades, replaced by an emptiness he can't quite name. It's in these moments when he starts comparing others to you, revisiting memories, or realizing how hard it is to replicate what you offered, that regret begins to bloom. Why is regret so compelling? Because it comes from a place of unfulfilled potential. He starts to see all the moments he could have handled differently. The arguments where he could have listened instead of reacting. The opportunities he had to show up for you and failed to take. The ways he let his ego, his fears, or his distractions rob him of someone extraordinary. And unlike other emotions, regret doesn't fade easily. It grows, gnawing at him, forcing him to replay scenarios and wonder, what if? But here's the twist. Regret by itself doesn't guarantee he'll act. Some people live their whole lives haunted by what they've lost without ever taking responsibility for their part in it. This is where your response, or lack thereof, plays a crucial role. By stepping away and focusing on your own growth, you allow regret to work on him without interference. It's not your job to alleviate his guilt or soften the blow of his mistakes. In fact, doing so only dilutes the lesson he needs to learn. When you let go and shift your focus inward, something extraordinary happens. Your absence creates the space he needs to feel the full weight of his choices. And as Stoicism teaches us, true strength comes from within. By embodying the principles of Stoic dating, you remain grounded, refusing to let his regret dictate your actions or emotions. You show him, not through words but through your resilience, that you're no longer the same woman he walked away from. Here's another layer to consider. Regret often comes with clarity. When he begins to regret losing you, he doesn't just see the surface-level qualities that drew him to you initially. He starts to recognize the deeper, more profound aspects of your character, your compassion, your patience, your unwavering support. He remembers the little things, the way you laughed at his jokes, the way you believed in his dreams, the way you made him feel seen in a world that so often overlooks vulnerability. And that realization is both humbling and unsettling. But let's pause for a moment. How often have you allowed someone's regret to pull you back into a cycle of hurt? How many times have you forgiven without seeing real change, hoping that their regret would magically transform into consistent effort? This is where boundaries become your greatest ally. Regret might bring him back, but only genuine accountability and growth should determine whether he stays. Here's the truth. Regret, while powerful, isn't always enough to sustain a relationship. It can inspire change, but it can also lead to empty gestures driven by guilt rather than genuine transformation. This is why it's so important to approach his return with clarity and discernment. Ask yourself, is he coming back because he truly values me, or because he's afraid of being alone? Is his regret leading to meaningful action, or is it just a fleeting emotion he's trying to escape? When he returns, you hold the power to decide. You get to set the terms, define the boundaries, and determine whether his actions align with your expectations. And if they don't, you have every right to walk away, knowing that his regret doesn't diminish your worth. In fact, it only highlights it. But let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Regret isn't just about him, it's also about you. How can you use this experience to reflect on your own growth and priorities? What lessons can you take from the relationship to ensure that your future connections are built on mutual respect, trust, and effort? This isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about using it as a springboard for a brighter, more fulfilling future. In the end, regret is a double-edged sword. For him, it's a reminder of what he let slip away. For you, it's an opportunity to rise above, to embrace your strength, and to build a life so fulfilling that his return, while flattering, is no longer necessary for your happiness. Because at the heart of it all, your journey isn't about making him realize your worth, it's about realizing it for yourself. Are you ready to step into that power? Let's continue this journey together. 5. The power of forgiveness and boundaries. He may come back into your life when he realizes that your forgiveness is a strength, not a weakness, but it's a strength that comes with boundaries. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Often it's seen as a sign of vulnerability, a soft spot to be exploited. But in reality, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's a release, a letting go of the weight that keeps you tethered to pain. And when you pair forgiveness with firm boundaries, you create a powerful force that not only sets you free but also commands respect. Think about this for a moment. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing his behavior or allowing him back into your life without conditions. It means releasing the emotional hold that his actions had over you. When you forgive, you're not saying what you did is okay. You're saying, I refuse to let your mistakes define my peace. And that's a form of liberation he'll feel the moment he tries to reconnect. Here's where boundaries come in. Forgiveness without boundaries is like building a house without walls. It leaves you exposed. Boundaries are your way of protecting the new version of yourself, the one who has grown, evolved, and risen above the pain. They say to the world, I value myself too much to allow disrespect into my life. And when he sees that your forgiveness isn't a free pass, but a testament to your strength, it will shake him to his core. Imagine this scenario. He comes back, apologizing for his mistakes, trying to make amends. In the past, you might have accepted his words at face value, hoping things would change. But now you're different. You listen, but you don't rush to reconcile. You observe his actions, not just his apologies. You set clear expectations. I appreciate your honesty, but if you want to be part of my life, it requires more than words, it requires consistency. This is a moment of reckoning for him. He realizes that the woman he once knew has transformed into someone who doesn't just forgive, she thrives. She's unshakable. And her boundaries aren't barriers, they're standards. And that realization forces him to rise to meet those standards or step aside. But let's be honest, forgiveness isn't always easy. There are moments when anger, resentment, and hurt bubble to the surface. That's natural. The key is to process those emotions without letting them consume you. Journaling, therapy, or simply taking time for introspection can help you navigate the complexities of forgiveness. Remember, you're not forgiving for him, you're forgiving for you. It's about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your ability to move forward without the weight of bitterness. And here's the beauty of forgiveness paired with boundaries. It creates clarity. When he returns, he'll have to confront the reality that the door isn't wide open. It's guarded by a stronger, wiser version of you. He'll see that your forgiveness is a reflection of your growth, not an invitation to repeat old patterns. But what if he doesn't come back? What if your forgiveness is met with silence? That's when the true gift of forgiveness reveals itself. You realize that your peace doesn't depend on his response. Whether he acknowledges his mistakes or not, you've already won because you've freed yourself from the emotional chains of the past. And isn't that the ultimate goal? Now, let me ask you this. How do you handle forgiveness in your life? Do you struggle to let go of past hurts, or have you found ways to move forward without losing yourself in the process? If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. Forgiveness isn't just a concept, it's a practice, a daily decision to choose peace over pain. Let's celebrate this moment of clarity together. If this message speaks to your heart, show your support. Like this video and comment number 1 if you're ready to embrace forgiveness as a strength and set boundaries that protect your growth. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into relationships, personal growth, and Stoic dating strategies. Your journey to empowerment is just getting started. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is all about the mirror effect, how your growth can inspire reflection in him and transform your perspective on what you truly deserve. Let's keep going. 6. The mirror effect. When they see your strength, he may come back into your life when he sees in you a reflection of what he wishes he could be or fears he cannot match. This is the mirror effect, a phenomenon that occurs when your strength, independence, and growth force him to look at himself in ways he might not have been ready to before. It's a moment of profound clarity for him, but also a moment of reckoning. Because when he sees the new, unshakable version of you, he's confronted with two choices: rise to meet you or retreat in the face of his own insecurities. The mirror effect is about more than just physical attraction or fleeting admiration. It's about emotional resonance. Your confidence and self-assuredness act as a light, illuminating not only your strength but also his shortcomings. This isn't about making him feel small. It's about the contrast you create simply by being your best self. And for some, that contrast can be humbling, even overwhelming. Imagine this: he sees you thriving. Maybe it's through mutual friends, social media, or a chance encounter. You're radiant, not because of superficial changes, but because of the inner work you've done. Your energy is magnetic, your boundaries clear, and your presence commanding. You're no longer the woman who doubted herself, who questioned her worth, or who sought validation from anyone outside of herself. You've become someone who knows exactly what she brings to the table, and that confidence is intoxicating. But here's where the mirror effect becomes transformative. It's not just about him seeing you, it's about him seeing himself in the reflection of your growth. He starts to ask questions he may have been avoiding. Am I growing? Have I made the changes I promised myself? Am I the kind of person who deserves someone like her? These questions aren't easy, but they're necessary. And in many cases, they lead to a deep internal shift, one that might bring him back to you, not out of convenience, but out of a genuine desire to match your energy. However, let's not ignore the other possibility. Sometimes, when faced with the mirror of your strength, he might pull away, not because he doesn't care, but because he's afraid. Afraid of failing, of not being enough, of stepping into a relationship that demands more than he feels capable of giving. This reaction, while painful, is also revealing. It shows you where he stands in his own journey and whether he's ready to meet you at your level. But let's bring the focus back to you. The mirror effect isn't just about him. It's about the way your growth changes the dynamic of every relationship in your life. As you evolve, you naturally attract people who align with your energy and repel those who don't. It's a process of refinement, a shedding of old connections that no longer serve you, and an opening to new possibilities that do. This is where the principles of Stoicism come into play. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own growth, actions, and mindset, while releasing attachment to outcomes beyond our influence. You can't control how he reacts to your strength, but you can control how you move forward. By embodying Stoic dating practices, you cultivate a calm, grounded energy that prioritizes self-respect over external validation. Now, let's delve deeper into why the mirror effect is so impactful. At its core, it's about authenticity. When you're genuinely thriving, not pretending, not posturing, but truly at peace with yourself, it creates a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. People sense when you're aligned with your purpose, when you've let go of fear and embraced your worth. And for him, seeing that transformation can be a catalyst for his own growth. But here's the catch. The mirror effect only works when it's real. You can't fake growth. You can't pretend to be confident or independent if, deep down, you're still clinging to old patterns. The mirror reflects what's truly there, not what you want others to see. This is why the inner work matters so much. Journaling, therapy, meditation, setting goals, these aren't just buzzwords, they're tools to help you build the life you deserve. When he looks into that mirror and sees your strength, it forces him to confront his own narrative. If he's been coasting, avoiding responsibility, or settling for less in his own life, your growth can serve as a wake-up call. But whether or not he answers that call is entirely up to him. And that's the beauty of this process. You're not waiting for him to change. You're simply living your truth and letting the chips fall where they may. Let me ask you this. How does it feel to think of yourself as a mirror for others? To know that your growth doesn't just serve you, but also inspires those around you? It's a powerful realization, isn't it? And it's one that puts you firmly in control of your narrative. You're not just reacting to the world, you're shaping it by the way you show up every day. And if he does come back, seeing in you the reflection of what he aspires to be, remember this: you hold the power. His return doesn't define your worth, it simply affirms what you already know. You are strong, you are whole, and you are deserving of a love that meets you where you are, not where you've been. The mirror effect isn't about him. It's about you. It's about becoming so grounded in your own strength that whether he rises to meet you or fades into the background, you remain unshaken. And in that strength lies the true power of the mirror effect. It transforms not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Let's keep moving forward on this journey together. There's so much more to discover about the power you hold. 7. True connection vs. convenience. He may come back into your life when he realizes the difference between true connection and convenience. In the noise of modern relationships, it's easy to confuse comfort with commitment or familiarity with something deeper. But when the dust settles, when the distractions fade and life demands something real, only true connection survives. And if he comes back, it's often because he's realized that what you had wasn't just convenient, it was meaningful. Let's explore this deeply. Convenience is tempting. It's the easy way out. It's the relationship that doesn't ask too much, doesn't challenge too deeply, and doesn't require transformation. Many people gravitate toward this kind of connection because it's comfortable, familiar, and, frankly, less work. But convenience rarely lasts. It lacks the foundation to weather life's storms, the resilience to handle conflict, and the depth to foster true intimacy. True connection, on the other hand, is rare. It's the bond that makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. It's the kind of relationship that grows with you, not against you. But true connection is also demanding. It requires vulnerability, effort, and a willingness to evolve. And this is where the distinction becomes clear. If he left because he wasn't ready for the work true connection demands, he may come back when he realizes how shallow convenience truly is. Picture this. After leaving, he may find himself in relationships that feel light, easy, even fun at first. But over time, something feels missing. Conversations lack depth, moments of joy feel fleeting, and when challenges arise, there's no real foundation to lean on. He starts to see that while convenience may offer temporary comfort, it doesn't compare to the stability, support, and authenticity that true connection provides. This realization doesn't come overnight. It often happens in moments of solitude, those quiet, reflective times when he compares what he has now to what he had with you. He remembers the way you listened when he shared his dreams, the way you stood by him in difficult times, and the way you challenged him to be better, not because you wanted to change him, but because you believed in his potential. And it's in these moments that the weight of true connection becomes undeniable. But let's pause for a moment. How can you ensure that if he comes back, it's because he values the connection you shared and not just the convenience you once offered? This is where your boundaries and self-awareness come into play. By cultivating a sense of self-worth independent of his return, you send a clear message. I am not here for convenience. I am here for connection. Here's where Stoicism offers a powerful perspective. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our values and principles, not on external validation. When you approach dating with a Stoic mindset, you're less likely to compromise on what matters most to you. You become someone who values depth over surface-level attraction, consistency over fleeting excitement, and partnership over passivity. And when he sees this in you, it forces him to question his own intentions. Is he coming back because he truly values the connection, or because it's convenient for him? True connection is a two-way street. It requires mutual effort, respect, and vulnerability. If he returns, you have every right to ask yourself, is he willing to do the work? Has he grown enough to meet me where I am? And if the answer is no, then you have the strength to walk away, knowing that your worth isn't tied to his ability to show up. But let's also consider another possibility. What if he does come back, ready to invest in the connection you shared? What if his time away has given him the clarity to see what truly matters? In this case, it's up to you to decide whether his actions align with his words. True connection isn't just about what he says, it's about what he does. Does he prioritize your needs? Does he make an effort to understand your perspective? Does he show up, not just in the good times, but in the hard ones too? And here's a truth that's both empowering and humbling. Even if he doesn't come back, the connection you shared still has value. It taught you about your capacity to love, to grow, and to invest in something real. It showed you what you deserve and what you should never settle for. And most importantly, it prepared you for the kind of love that will meet you at your level, whether it's with him or someone else. So let me ask you, are you willing to prioritize true connection over convenience in your own life? Are you ready to let go of surface-level relationships and embrace the depth that real intimacy requires? If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Are they rooted in convenience, or do they reflect the kind of connection you truly crave? If this message speaks to you, let's celebrate the power of connection together. Like this video and comment number 1 if you're ready to embrace the love you deserve and say no to convenience. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on relationships, personal growth, and the Stoic dating mindset. Together, we're building a community of strong, empowered individuals who value depth over mediocrity. Let's continue this journey, because the next step is about choosing yourself first, something that will change everything. Stay with me, and let's dive even deeper. 8. The importance of choosing yourself first. He may come back into your life when he realizes that you've chosen yourself first and that your happiness no longer depends on him. There is something profoundly transformative about a woman who knows her worth, sets her priorities, and builds a life so full and vibrant that anyone who wants to be part of it must earn their place. When you choose yourself, you're not just walking away from pain or disappointment. You're walking toward a version of yourself that's unstoppable, radiant, and unapologetically whole. Why is this so powerful? Because choosing yourself isn't about rejecting others. It's about embracing your own value. It's about saying, I am enough, exactly as I am, and I won't settle for less than I deserve. And this shift doesn't go unnoticed. When he sees that you're no longer waiting for his attention, approval, or affection to feel complete, it forces him to confront the truth. You don't need him. You're thriving on your own. Imagine this. He left, maybe thinking that you'd struggle without him. Perhaps he even believed that your happiness revolved around the relationship, that your identity was tied to being with him. But then he sees you happy, fulfilled, and flourishing. You've taken up new hobbies, pursued your passions, and surrounded yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. You've built a life so rich and meaningful that his absence is no longer a void but a footnote in your journey. And that realization, it's a humbling experience for anyone. But let's pause for a moment and ask the bigger question. What does it truly mean to choose yourself first? It's not just about self-care or indulging in surface-level comforts. It's about doing the deeper work, the kind that transforms your mindset, your habits, and your outlook on life. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. It means walking away from situations that don't serve you, even when they're familiar. It means prioritizing your growth, even when it requires letting go of things or people you once thought you couldn't live without. Here's where Stoicism provides a valuable perspective. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our internal world rather than external circumstances. When you choose yourself, you're practicing the essence of Stoic dating, finding fulfillment within rather than seeking it from others. This doesn't mean you don't value relationships. It means you value yourself enough to ensure that any relationship enhances your life rather than detracts from it. And this mindset, it's magnetic. When he sees that you're no longer tethered to his actions or decisions, it forces him to reevaluate everything. He starts to ask questions. Why is she so happy without me? How did she find this strength? What did I overlook when I was with her? These questions don't just create curiosity, they create admiration. Because deep down, he knows that choosing yourself first isn't easy. It requires courage, resilience, and a willingness to grow. And seeing you embody these qualities reminds him of what he let go. But here's the beauty of this journey. His realization is a byproduct, not the goal. The real power lies in how choosing yourself changes your life. When you focus on your happiness, your goals, and your growth, you create a ripple effect that touches every area of your existence. Your relationships improve because you no longer settle for anything less than mutual respect and effort. Your career thrives because you approach challenges with confidence and determination. Your mental health flourishes because you've let go of the weight of trying to please everyone else. Now, let's talk about the practical side of choosing yourself. What does this look like in action? It might mean setting aside time every day for something that brings you joy, whether it's journaling, exercising, or pursuing a creative passion. It might mean saying no to things that drain your energy, even if they're things you once felt obligated to do. It might mean surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and celebrate your growth. And when he does come back, drawn by the light of your transformation, the question isn't whether he's ready to choose you, it's whether you're still willing to choose him. Because choosing yourself first doesn't mean shutting the door to love. It means ensuring that love aligns with your values, your goals, and your vision for the future. It means asking yourself, does this relationship bring out the best in me? Does it support the life I'm building? Does it feel like a partnership, or does it feel like a compromise? Here's the truth. Choosing yourself first isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice, a commitment to living authentically and unapologetically. It's a reminder that your happiness isn't negotiable, and that anyone who wants to be part of your life must add to it, not detract from it. And when you live this way, you attract not just a partner, but a partnership, one that's built on mutual respect, shared growth, and true connection. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to choose yourself? Are you ready to step into your power and build a life that's so full, so fulfilling, that whether he comes back or not, you know you'll be okay? Because that's the secret. When you choose yourself, you win no matter what. This isn't just about him realizing your worth, it's about you realizing it first. And in that realization lies the greatest freedom, the deepest peace, and the most profound love you'll ever know. Let's keep moving forward because the journey doesn't end here, it's only just beginning. As we've explored, there are countless reasons why he may come back into your life. It could be regret, the realization of your growth, or the unmistakable power of your absence. But at the core of it all, his return isn't the most important part of the story. You are. This journey has never been about waiting for him to see your value. It's about you realizing your worth and embodying it in every aspect of your life. It's about stepping into your power, choosing yourself first, and creating a life so rich and fulfilling that whether or not he returns, you know you're thriving. His actions may shift, but your happiness is no longer tied to them. When he does come back, you'll find yourself at a crossroads. You'll have the clarity to see whether his intentions align with your values and whether he's willing to meet you at your level. You'll be equipped with the tools to discern true connection from convenience, and you'll know that forgiveness isn't about letting him off the hook, it's about setting yourself free. The choice will always be yours. Will his return complement the life you've built, or will it remind you why you chose to walk away in the first place? Either way, your decision will be rooted in strength, self-respect, and the profound love you've cultivated for yourself. So as we close this chapter, I want to remind you, your growth is your greatest power. Keep building, keep thriving, and keep choosing yourself. And if he does come back, let it be on your terms, not out of need, but because you've become someone who inspires admiration and commands respect. If this journey has resonated with you, I encourage you to reflect on everything we've discussed and apply it to your life with intention. You hold the power to rewrite your story, to redefine your relationships, and to live a life that feels authentic and empowering. And that's the kind of energy that changes everything. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. I hope it's inspired you, uplifted you, and reminded you of the incredible strength you hold. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more transformative insights. Your voice matters here, and your growth is worth celebrating. Until next time, keep shining. The best is yet to come.